Now, look, I don't get outraged over it anymore. I just don't. It's just.
I say I'm not going to be, but I always fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
No. It doesn't.
Because it really bugs me.
It doesn't even bother me anymore. I mean, baseball as a sport continues to just piss all over itself. All right, so you get one Hall of Famer yesterday. One Hall of Famer. And the Hall of Famer who was elected is not Andrew Jones.
Which is ridiculous.
It's not Gary Sheffield. It's not Carlos Beltran. It's not Jeff Kent. All right? Manny Ramirez. 33% of the vote.
Can you write the history of, just for 1 second, can you write the history of baseball without including Manny Ramirez into there?
You can't write it without Manny Ramirez. You actually can't write it without Alex Rodriguez.
Nope.
You can't write it without Jeff Kent. You can't write it without Carlos Beltran. You can't write the history of baseball without Todd Helton of the Colorado Rockies. So baseball decides, you know what? 76% of the vote is going to go to Scott Rowland. Scott Rowland is in the Hall of Fame, Shask, and I'm going to let you riff here. But I just, look, people make fun of me. You know, you guys make fun of me. I love baseball.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love baseball.
I know you do.
I'm disappointed in what the Giants have done.
For sure.
They don't appeal to me right now.
Yeah.
But I would love baseball.
Yeah.
Scott Rowland? When is Scott Rowland ever a top 5 offensive player in the National League?
Oh, no, let's go his own position. I wrote down, I'm gonna go through these players with you because I did this exercise with Spadoni. I just wrote down off the top of my head, and then I cross-referenced to make sure that I wasn't tripping because I play video games and fantasy baseball the entire time while Scott Rowland played. And I just was obviously a diehard fan, okay? During his era, guys that overlapped while he played, okay? Let's start at the top. Chipper Jones, gold standard third base.
Yeah.
Switch hitter.
Yep.
Come on, you know.
Baller.
Yeah, he is the gold standard at third base. Right. Adrian Beltre.
Oh, my gosh.
Alex Rodriguez. Those are, to me, those three separate themselves from everyone else. Okay? At any point in Scott Rowland's career, you could make the argument that these guys had multiple better years than Scott Rowland ever had. Ryan Zimmerman. Aramis Ramirez. And by the way, Aramis Ramirez, look at the numbers.
Oh, he was a baller. Aramis Ramirez underrated.
Oh, dramatically.
Very underrated. I like Aramis Ramirez.
Troy Gloss. Eric Chavez. David Wright. Evan Longoria. Josh Donaldson. Those are just, and that's not even without including the other three guys, Chipper Jones, Beltre, and Alex Rodriguez. Look, you can write the history of baseball without talking about Scott Rowland. He's very forgettable. You know,
has anybody brought up Scott Rowland? The only thing that I think is the signature moment of Scott Rowland's career is holding out with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh, I was going to go the error that he had against the Giants with the Joaquin Arias hit to third base when they were down 2-0 in the seventh inning, and he fumbled the ball and pulled the Bill Buckner.
Game three, 2012 in LDS.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even care anymore. Like, usually when the Baseball Hall of Fame comes around at 3 p.m. West Coast time, you're like, ooh, let's get the MLB Network. Let's turn on the television. Let's get ready. 3 o'clock came. I said, babe, I was, building a little Minnie Mouse bike for Baby Chaz. I said, I'm going to go pick up Baby Chaz now. I don't even care. I'll find out who's in the Hall of Fame later on. And then when I text the thread, whatever time that was, it said Scott Rowland really made the Hall of Fame.
It's the joke.
Just talk about impact. Jeff Kent. More impact to Scott Rowland?
At second base, he's one of the great modern sluggers at second base. Altuve is going to break some of those records.
Right.
But like Kent, for, a 30-year period, clearly head and shoulders, and his 5 years of impact, better than anyone's at that position. Offensively.
Gary Sheffield.
Gary Sheffield is one of the great baseball players that we don't give enough love to.
How about this?
Guy played 8 positions.
I know. How about this? There's an at-bat to save your life.
You
taking Sheffield over Scott Rowland, or you taking Scott Rowland over Sheffield?
Sheffield, we do this thing about defense, right? Well, Scott Rowland was so good defensively. I think David Wright was better than him defensively.
Right.
I think Eric Chavez was better than him defensively. You could make an argument when he first came up. Evan Longoria was better than him defensively. We did this thing because he was a St. Louis Cardinal and a Red. Oh, he's a good white boy representing the Midwest. It's ridiculous, B. Like
8-time Gold Glove Award winner. I get that. It's not bad. I'll give him that. 8-time Gold Glove winner. All right, he hit 316 home runs over the course of his career.
Yeah, Aramis Ramirez had more.
Yeah, he batted 281 over the course of his career.
2,000 hits.
All right. 316 homers, 1,287 RBIs. He amassed 2,077 hits in 17 years. I mean, that's not Hall of Fame worthy.
100%.
You want to be in the Hall of Good? The Hall of Very Good? I'll give you the Hall of Good for Scott Rowland.
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to let Scott Rowland in, then my question and my pivot is, but you're not going to let Omar Vizquel in? Now, Omar Vizquel has his own personal stuff.
Right.
Put that to the side. I'm talking about before the personal things came to light.
He ranks 5th in WAR. According to Baseball Reference, among career third basemen. 5th in WAR. That's what we're going to do?
I mean, come on.
Is any baseball player going to a bar? Or is any baseball player going to a function? You know what my war was? It's like basketball players going to the club like, yo, man, my plus minus, man. I got the best plus minus in the NBA. Nobody cares.
From 2005 to 2010, David Wright had a WAR that only 3 other players in baseball had. And one of those guys was Pujols.
Wow.
Just to give you an example. Like, again, if I asked you right now, who you taking? Peak David Wright, peak Scott Rowland.
David Wright.
David Wright was a stud.
David Wright was a stud. He just couldn't stay healthy.
Exactly. And even then, you look at his numbers, even then in the 14 years, he scattered at the end because he was so hurt. His numbers are just exactly the same as Scott Rowland's.
Unbelievable. And so I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this ESPN article. One reason Rowland's case gathered momentum so quickly was because of his standing in advanced metrics. Advanced metrics. So now that's what we're doing. Advanced metrics. Whatever, man. You just kind of laugh at it, and the writers are going to come out, and they're not going to reveal their ballots. Some of them will, and they're going to explain themselves on why. Like, half the writers didn't even watch Scott Rowland. But half the writers did watch Todd Helton.
If you were told, and you're at the ball game, coming up this inning, Scott Rowland, wouldn't you be like, I'll go get a hot dog right now? Like, no one's like, gotta stay here for this at-bat.
Nobody's staying in there.
No, I'm serious.
Nobody. I just think about it. Sheffield, Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones his peak was so much better. Andrew Jones's numbers for his first 9 years, they are incredible. Incredible. They mirror Ken Griffey Jr.'s. I know that sounds sacrilegious. Go look.
So Andrew Jones hit 434 home runs. 1,289 RBI.
Gold standard at center field outside of Griffey during a 30-year period.
67 hits shy of 2,000. 254.
Yeah,
his average really dipped over the latter half of his career.
So he got punished for playing longer, basically.
Right. But more impactful hitter, more feared hitter. How about Gold Gloves? He won 10 Gold Gloves.
And was part of a winning team from day one when he came up. I mean, what was he, 18, 19 years old in the World Series playing left field?
Against the Yankees. Yeah. Those first 2 games, he was dynamic.
Exactly. I mean, he was a winner.
So, the Hall of Fame gets it wrong again. The Jeff Kent stuff, now he falls off the ballot.
Give me a break.
He falls off the ballot now, and he's one of the greatest second basemen in the history of baseball. In the history. Now, let's just look at Jeff Kent for a second. You want to compare Scott Rowland, Jeff Kent? Okay, he doesn't have any Gold Gloves, but he does have an NL MVP award. How about the home runs? 377 home runs, 1,518 RBI, over 17 seasons, just like Scott Rowland. 2,461 hits. Jeff Kent can't get into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Jeff Kent gets 46.5% of the vote yesterday.
I know. And here's the other thing, because you hear this a lot from people. The Gold Gloves, they matter. See, here's my problem with Gold Gloves. Once you get a Gold Glove, you're in the committee of you're automatically getting a Gold Glove as long as you're out there playing and you become part of that team. Right. If you look at the advanced defensive metrics, Scott Rowland was very good defensively. I'm not here to...
Yeah.
A-Rod was better defensively.
So much better.
A-Rod was better. A-Rod was so much better. It's the same thing we do with Jeter. And you know, I have I get crushed Jeter. Jeter never won a Gold Glove till A-Rod moved over to third base.
Right.
Okay? And defensively, during that time, Tejada, Nomar, A-Rod, they were all better than him defensively, and obviously Omar Vizquel at shortstop. But eventually we gave it to Jeter, and then he won a couple because of who the name was. Scott Rowland got at least 2 or 3 of those Gold Gloves when he shouldn't have.
Scott Rowland.
And he was a great, I'm not here to deny it.
He
was a great defensive. But if that's what your standard is, and you're going to say, well, the defense helps elevate, which I'm here for because I do believe defense is part of the game. Well, then why didn't Omar Vizquel get more votes? Because Omar Vizquel is the greatest shortstop that I've ever seen at the time defensively.
This is going to piss you off.
What?
Scott Rowland's first year of eligibility was 2018.
Yeah, he got 10%.
He got 10% of the vote.
What happened? How did he jump? That was when real Hall of Famers were on the ballot. When the real Hall of Famers were on the ballot, look at how 10%. Little of the vote he got.
And all of a sudden, he just skyrockets to the Hall of Fame. 4 years later, 5 years later.
Insane.
So, Major League Baseball continues to piss on himself with this exclusive membership to the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's just Sheffield's not going to get in. Whatever. We could turn the page on that. That's our riff on the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's just, it's laughable, Shasky. And again, I don't get mad. I told you this.
I know, I do. I fall for it every year.
I don't even fall for it no more. I refuse to get angry over the Baseball Hall of Fame now. I'm done. I don't care. You could put in Scott Rowland.
Here's the funniest thing.
Scott Rowland.
A-Rod can be the voice of baseball on multiple networks and on television. He's doing the Michael Kay show on ESPN, which baseball approves, and they love it, and they want it. But the writers aren't going to let him in.
Jeff Kent can't get into the Hall of Fame. Jeff Kent, 46% of the vote.
Big Papi can.
Big Papi can.
And Pudge can.
Jeff Kent had the best 5-year run for a second baseman outside of Jose Altuve came along.
Do you know who quietly is starting to rise?
Who's that?
Andy Pettitte.
Oh, God.